What's happening, everybody? Jeff Lightsy Jr. here with the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe, because we upload every single day. Now, the Lakers have announced that they are putting out a 9-part documentary, a docuseries that will debut on Hulu in 2022. Now, here's an article coming from Bleacher Report. It says the Los Angeles Lakers announced that there will be a 9-part documentary on the franchise coming to Hulu in 2022. According to the release, the series will cover the past 4 decades of the Lakers, starting with Jerry Buss purchasing the organization back in 1979. It will include new interviews from 35 people within the organization, including the Buss family, Pat Riley, Phil Jackson, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. It will feature in-depth looks at the Showtime Lakers in the 80s, the Kobe Bryant and Shaq era in the year 2000, as well as the most recent title won by LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and more. Lakers CEO Jeannie Buss discussed the upcoming documentary featuring the run of success led by her father. Quote, when Dr. Buss bought the Lakers in 1979, he sat down alone at center court of the Forum and thought of all the possibilities. But even in his wildest dreams, my father could not have imagined the next decades would bring for our organization, our league, and our city of Los Angeles. I am thrilled that the true story of the Lakers will finally be shaped with the world, and that we are in such capable hands with Hulu and Antoine, a director whose storytelling I've admired for years. The docuseries will be directed by Antoine Fuqua, I think I said his name right, Antoine Fuqua, for his work on Training Day and Olympus Has Fallen. He has also directed the Ali documentary, What's My Name, which was produced by LeBron James and Spree Hill Entertainment and won a Sports Emmy for Outstanding Documentary. The Lakers project will look for more critical success while also trying to capitalize on the demand of sports documentaries following The Last Dance, the popular ESPN docuseries that cover Michael Jordan's 1998 season and his years with the Bulls. Now, that was what I was going to get at. The Lakers are trying to capitalize. They just won a championship and the success of The Last Dance. Here's what The Last Dance did. The Last Dance changed sports documentaries forever. It changed them forever because no longer will people just only crave for the 1-part ESPN 30 for 30. Like, those will still do well, right? Don't get me wrong. The Deion Sanders, all the great 30 for 30s, Len Bias, all those great ones. I can't even think of off the top of my head, Marcus Dupree. Just those are the ones that come to mind, first when I first think of ESPN 30 for 30s. But when the Last Dance came and it was put out by ESPN and then featured on Netflix, it changed sports documentaries forever. And here's why. Because now people want in-depth, longer series. They want the Netflix. They want something that they can catch on Hulu. They want something that they can binge watch. They don't just want the 1-2 hour documentary. Now we want hours upon hours of content. Now, I get it. People say that, folks nowadays have shorter attention spans and they can't, tune into something longer for 30 seconds. That's true, I think, for most cases. When it comes to sports, it's not. Sports fans love history. Sports fans love drama. Sports fans love knowing the inner workings of said thing. So that's why The Last Dance was so successful, is because we got inside the inner workings of the Chicago Bulls, a dynasty, building the dynasty, centered around to most people, the greatest player to ever play in the NBA, in the drama that came with said dynasty. Now, obviously, you'd heard the stories, right? But there was no social media in the 90s. Some of these things you couldn't tell if it was rumor, it was real or fake or whatever. So now we're hearing first-person stories from the people that were there, from the people that lived it, from the people, and we're getting hours upon hours, stories upon stories, details upon details that were never uncovered until The Last Dance, right? We got to know about Jerry Krause and how Mike and Pippen and all these guys hated Jerry Krause. And Phil Jackson. We got to know how much Jerry Krause didn't like that Phil Jackson and Michael Jordan got all the, MJ got all the credit and he built the team, which he did. We got to know the inner workings. We got to know why the owner chose Jerry Krause over Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson. because Michael Jordan told him, if you fire Phil Jackson, I'm out of here. And he meant it in every word, and he retired. You got to make your own speculations whether Michael Jordan retired the first time because he had a gambling problem and the NBA kind of, sat him down. Now you got new conspiracy theories after hearing the story of him getting in trouble going gambling there in the middle of the night and still going dropping 40 on dudes' heads in the playoffs. Like, that is intriguing to sports fans. That is something that they embraced. That is something that they love. That was something that you couldn't, like I said, you could put all the newspaper clippings together and make all the assumptions that you wanted. But when you heard it from Michael Jordan, and when you heard it from Phil Jackson, and when you heard it from Scottie Pippen and Dennis Rodman and all these other characters that were involved, directly involved, it captivated us. It had us glued to our seats, glued to our TVs every single week. And they were dropping part by part by part. And you had to wait a week. And you had a week's worth of material to talk about leading up to the next episode. So that is what the sporting world will always continue to capitalize on moving forward. If you have an interesting story that we can make a docu-series and not just a documentary, we're always going to do that. The Lakers have 40 years since because they're not doing the Jerry West and the Wilt Chamberlains and all those guys. They're doing it from 1979, from the time Dr. Jerry Buss bought the Los Angeles Lakers in 1979 up until the most recent title in 2020 with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. It's a lot of championships. It's a lot of history. We're talking about 5 rings with Magic, 5 rings with Kobe. In between there, obviously Kareem's 5 and Shaq's 3. Another title with LeBron. It's a lot of stuff to talk about. You got the drafting of Magic Johnson, the acquiring of Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the Showtime Lakers, and the championships in the dynasty of the 80s with Pat Riley, Magic, Magic getting a coach fired. We're going to hear the real details about that. Then, obviously, you go through your drought in the 90s because, Michael Jordan, whatever. But you might get, some parts about Magic Johnson and his battle with HIV, his sudden retirement, his battle with HIV, his comeback to play in the All-Star game. And then you get your lull in the 90s, but then you sign Shaquille O'Neal. You trade for Kobe Bryant on draft day. And then you have your Lakers three-peat. But then you have the Kobe Bryant and Shaq falling out. And then from there, the struggles until you acquire Pau Gasol, who will be featured. He won 2 championships. You acquire Lamar Odom. You draft Andrew Bynum, and you win 2 more titles. And then you go through a lull until you sign LeBron James. You trade for Anthony Davis. And you reach the mountaintop once again. This documentary is going to be great, and I cannot wait. You see the Lakers fan in me. You see I'm excited. I cannot wait. Once again, I'm Jeff Lightsy Jr. at the Black Boss Channel and Victory Formation. Leave your thoughts in the comments. What do you think? Will you be captivated by the Lakers docuseries that plans to come out 2022 via Hulu? I know I can't wait. What about you? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Once again, thank you guys for tuning in. Be sure to hit the thumbs up button, like, share, subscribe on your way out. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.